Hey, it's Steve with Raybuck Auto Body Parts, and I am here with the Builder Kids.
Kobe and Blake.
Yep, Kobe and Blake. So we're doing a video for both channels, Raybuck and Builder Kids. If you guys haven't seen the Builder Kids stuff, we used to have it here on the Raybuck channel, and we switched it over because it was getting popular and they wanted to do some of their own stuff, and it wasn't really automotive related. Some of it was, some of it wasn't. So some of it's here in the garage. Actually, a lot of it's here in the garage, but it's not necessarily working on cars. We do all kinds of projects. Some of it's outside. We do all kinds of projects. So if you're interested, we'll put a link below. Definitely click on that and subscribe. Those guys are definitely looking for more subscribers on their channel, right?
Yes.
So they were interested in this. I was really interested in this. This is a plasma cutter. We're going to do a little bit of an unboxing today, and then we're going to show you how this one works. This is an Amico plasma cutter. So there are a bunch of different ones on the market. Just do a Google search and you'll find tons of different ones. I looked at Lotus, that's the L-O-T-O-S, and CUT-50HF, Amico, and a couple other ones. I didn't want anything like too crazy. I just wanted something to help with basic projects in the garage and something that could cut around 1/2 inch cleanly. So this unit is really interesting. This is a standalone plasma cutter. It doesn't have any welding capabilities. Some of the ones you'll find out there, especially the Lotus ones, they'll give you options if you want MIG, TIG, stick. You guys probably saw we did another video with the ESAW welder. We have that, so we just wanted a plasma cutter. This one, though, is a non-touch pilot arc one. So a lot of the lower end plasma cutters you need, or the older ones, you have to actually hit the tip off a piece of metal to start it, to ignite it. This one has a built-in pilot arc. So you can just click it and then start getting ready to cut. You don't have to touch it to the metal first. So that was one of the key features that I liked about this. The other feature that I liked, well, there are a couple of them, but the other one is this will cut up to 3/5 of an inch cleanly and up to 1 inch thick rough cut. Not that we're ever going to cut 1 inch, but I thought, hey, why not? If we have the option to cut to 1 inch, it would be really cool, and we could cut all kinds of stuff. We actually have a couple of projects lined up where we're going to use this. I don't know why I didn't buy it years ago. Some friends had told me to get it and or get one of these, so here we go. We're going to try it. So we're going to unbox it. We're going to show you guys what's in the box, and then we're going to show you how to set it up and cut with it. Right, guys?
That metal or this metal?
Yeah, we're going to use, we got a couple different pieces. We got a couple different pieces of angle, a couple different thicknesses. We'll get a gauge on each one and you can see what it is, and we'll see how it cuts.
Yay! Alright, let's open.
Okay.
I can't
There we
see,
go.
so I can't open. Open, open, open. Open, open. See.
There we go. I'm going to tilt it so these guys can start getting some of the stuff out. You can see what's in the box.
I want the styrofoam.
There, hold that one up. This is an interesting piece. Not interesting, but it's an adapter. So this unit will do 110 or 220, or I guess 120 or 220, and it comes with an adapter for it. A lot of the other ones that I looked at didn't come with this adapter, and the adapter could be like 20 or 30 bucks on its own. One thing I didn't mention is the cost. Oh, we down to that part? Okay, hold on, we're gonna get this. I gotta set the box down so we can actually get it out. There's the unit. The cost on it. This one was about 380 bucks. So there are other ones that are in the 180 to 200 range, or even low 200s. They didn't cut as thick as this one, and they also didn't have the pilot arc functionality. So I went a little bit higher, but obviously you can get up into $1,000, $2,000 depending on what you're doing. You know, if you're a shop that does this on a regular basis, maybe you want something more high-end. Again, for what we do in the garage, I think this thing will be great. Take it out of the bag. Okay.
It smells good.
It smells good, yep. Another thing to look at is the connector. Some of the other ones had the 20 amp plug on it, but they were the curved. I forget which which version that is. But this one is more of a standard plug. I already have this plug in my garage. Yeah, let's see if I can get it up closer. Sorry, I don't have anyone working the camera. We're not zooming in. But it's got that style on it, where a lot of the other ones had the two curved plugs on it. Or connectors, I should say. So here, we got, let's zoom in a little bit on this one. And we'll show you some of the other features of this thing. So you have your gauge, your pressure gauge. A couple of the other ones, I think the CUT-50HF was one of them. It was in, I think, kilograms, or it was a metric system, where this is just in PSI, so that was a nice feature. This has this 2T and 4T switch on it, which I didn't know what it was. So it means that you can either, in this one setting, I think it's the 2T, it only triggers when you hit the trigger. It only turns on when you hit the trigger. I think in the 4T, once you set the trigger, it'll stay running. I'm assuming you would want it like that if maybe you put it in a jig and you were just running like metal or moving the metal itself and the torch was in one location. Or maybe if you're doing a big cut and you just don't want to keep it squeezed the whole time, but you want to make sure it's on. That's what that's for. We have your current setting here and your post flow. So I think on how many seconds it'll blow through after you let off the torch. And then you have your connectors down here for your gun, for your ground, and then this is the pilot arc. And then on the back, you have your air/gas fitting, and then you have your breaker. So some of the other units that are out there, instead of a breaker, they have fuses, and the fuse will blow and you have to replace the fuse. This one you would just trip, you can see it, you just trip the breaker, and then all you have to do is set the breaker, which I thought was a nice option. It has an internal regulator. Some of the other ones have external regulators, and that was another thing I didn't really care for because it sticks out here on the back of the unit. And my concern was if it's out here, there's a chance something's going to hit it when you're walking by, or if you drop something, or if you're sitting, if this is sitting on a rack and a piece of metal falls and hits it. This one has it built in, so you don't have to worry about any sort of external unit. So that's nice. It has some other functionality too. It's similar to a welder with the way that it cools. It has an automatic or a thermostat on the fan, and the fan kicks on and off and runs at a higher or a lower speed depending on the amount of heat that's generated in there. And then it has like a cool down cycle that's built into it as well. So there's a lot of, not a lot, but there's some other features associated with it. But those are the primary ones and a lot of the ones that helped me make my decision. Here is, you guys want to go show the camera this? Yeah. This is the ground clamp that comes with it. So it's pretty decent, kind of beefy. You can see the copper inserts in it.
This isn't safe, Dad. There are a lot of dangers to it, it says.
A lot of dangers, there could be. If you
Pacemakers, people with that should not be using. You're standing by the machine, it says electric shock can kill.
Yep, they say that on a lot of these things.
Fumes and gases are dangerous.
Yep, and here's the torch itself. I think this is an AG60 style torch. I think that's what it is. So watch, one of the other things, especially on the Lotus, look at the consumables, the cost of the consumables, because you will at some point need to replace the tip, the ceramic, and the little guide that's on it. The Lotus, they're really expensive. They're proprietary. I think you have to use the Lotus brand. Where this one, you could use any type of inexpensive consumable. I think it was about, these are about half the price, the consumables are about half the price of the Lotus. I think you can get like, I want to say like 30 or 40 pieces for like 20 bucks, and the Lotus you get like 10 or 15 pieces for like $20. And the other thing that I liked is with this style gun, you can see this little metal guide. It's a nice guide, so when you set down, it gives you a controlled distance off of your piece of metal, off the steel that you're cutting, and you could just run the guide right along there, so you don't have to worry about your arm being a little bit higher or a little bit lower. So definitely, I don't know, I think it's nice to have a guide like that. They do sell other types of guides that will clip on, and they have little wheels, and you could just kind of use it. It'd be nice if you're doing like circular stuff. Again, you could hook it up to a jig and then just cut nice circles with it. But this type of guide will work for what we're doing. We're not getting anything into anything that fancy right now. Yep, and it comes with a bunch of styrofoam.
Yay, styrofoam.
So that is the unit in a nutshell. That's the overview of it. Like I said, we're going to get it hooked up here pretty soon. I think we're going to run it, we're going to check the directions. I think we're going to run it around 90 PSI and then give it a shot. We're going to look at some of the steel that we have here. Like I said, we'll throw a gauge on there and we'll tell you guys how thick it is. And then I'm actually going to have these guys cut it and we're going to see what it's like, right? You guys want to cut some?
Sure. But I hope we don't get killed by it.
You're not going to
deadly gas.
It's air. It just hooks up to a regular air compressor. So
Fumes.
yes.
Fumes.
Yeah. So most of these just run off of regular compressed air. That's the blow through that comes out. So when you're cutting, it blows everything away and keeps the cut nice and clean.
Can we wear headphones?
You're not going to need it. It's not loud.
No, it says noise
Okay.
can.
Anyway, we're going to go take a quick break, eat some lunch. We're going to come back, get this set up, and we'll show you guys what it's like.
This noise can damage your
Okay, we're back from lunch. We got the machine all set up. So you can see I got the ground connected. This was the cable or grouping of cables that came with the torch. So you just hook the main torch to there, your 2-pin connection there, and then you got this red cable, which is your pilot arc. You just unscrew this, it's got a ring tongue connector on there, and then you just tighten that up. We read the directions. They said that it really should operate in the 60 to 80 psi range. So I have the compressor set at 70, so we're going to give that a try and see how that works. And then again, you can mess around with the current and the post flow depending on the thickness of the material you're cutting and how much material you are cutting. On the back just is a straight up quick connect for the air compressor, so we're going to plug that in here in a second, and then to turn it on you just flip the breaker over. And then over here we have the material that we're going to cut. Got this piece of angle. Kobe, you want to bring the caliper over? We'll put it on. We'll show you guys how thick it is. So I have the ground connected to it already, and then Kobe's going to put the caliper here. Put it on the edge of this. Nope.
Up, got reset. Look, it's minus. We need to reset it.
Okay, reset that. Sorry, they were playing around with the caliper. Open it up just a little bit and put it right here. Tighten it up. Slide it together. Okay, let go. So there you go, 0.286. So we're looking at a little over a 1/4 inch thick for this this angle. This was an old lentil from a window ledge or a window installation. So yeah, we're gonna give this a cut and we'll see what it does.
All right, guys. He's reading the directions and figuring out what to do. All right, we just turned it on.
Yep, we turned it on. The settings are all the way down right now, so this is showing 11 amps, so this is your current setting. And I'm just looking at the directions. It says set the unit for 20 amps. No, just show it. Set the unit for 20 amps to cut up to 1/8 steel thickness. For every additional 1/8 inch, add 10 amps. So since we're around a 1/4 inch, we're probably going to be around 40 amps. So we're going to set it at 40 amps right there. The post flow, I'm just going to put it 6 for right now, and we'll see. I haven't messed around with the post flow that much. The machine should automatically continue to flow air, I think, out of the nozzle for 30 seconds once you let go of the trigger, just to help cool the nozzle down. It helps with your consumables with messing the nozzle up. So I don't know. We're going to try that. And it says
to
here,
wear a welding helmet.
Yep, you guys have your welding helmets. It also says you can adjust the nozzle that's in there. Use 0.6 millimeters for 20 to 25 amps, 0.8 for 20 to 35, 0.9 for 35 to 50. I didn't take it out, the one that's in there, so I'm not sure what it is, but we're going to try that and we're going to give it a shot. We're going to see what happens. Okay, so we're getting ready to cut. This unit also comes with 13-foot cords, so the ground and the torch cords are around 13 feet, which is nice, so you don't have to be right up on what you're working on. So I'm going to start down here. This is the safety on the trigger, the yellow part. If you can see that, you have to lift it up and then click the red to ignite it. You should be real close to this before you ignite it, and then we're going to start. So we're going to give it a shot. I think you're supposed to flow back. I'm going to flow away from me just for right now because I don't want it blowing back onto the cables. And we're going to see what it does. Okay, so we did a couple of cuts. I originally had it at 40. I turned it down to 30 because I realized I misread the directions. It wasn't cutting through enough. I just turned it up to 35. I actually think I should turn it up to 40. But what was happening was it was cutting but not blowing all the way through. So I turned it up to 35, and now we're starting to get some blow through, but it's not quite as clean as it should be. So I'm going to turn it up to 40 and try it again. Here, if you see this side, That's kind of what it looked like at 30. So it was only like penetrating maybe 3/4 of the way through. We're here at 35, you can see light coming out the other side. So I'm going to turn up to 40 and we're going to try it again.
Okay. You done?
Yep.
Okay. Let's see.
Yeah, 40, that was a nice, look at that. Look at the cut on the other side.
Yeah. Oh, very nice.
So you can see right through it. I'm not very good at it, it was a weird angle, but I'm getting used to it. But yeah, at 40, I bet you if I give this a little tap, that came right off.
We could cut like another half and then weld something. Look at all that.
Yeah, so you can see it was starting to get a little bit cleaner, but again, I was on a weird angle and I didn't have the settings quite right. But what a difference versus trying to use like a cutting wheel or a any sort of blade, any sort of like saw blade.
And if your thing's not working, sometimes the ground doesn't like the paint. So you have to sand it.
Yeah, definitely want to have a good ground. It's just like welding. But that's another thing with this machine, with the Amico machine. You can cut through paint and rust. Read some of the descriptions of some of the other plasma cutters out there if you're looking at them. They have a hard time with anything that's not just a pure metal surface. So if there's any sort of paint or buildup on it, they might not be able to cut through it. They might not arc correctly. So this actually reminds me a lot like cutting with oxygen and acetylene. Just obviously you're not heating up the materials around it. It gives a similar cut. Well, again, I didn't have it adjusted correctly, but if you guys have ever cut with a torch, actually like acetylene torch, it's a similar flow. It feels like a similar flow to it. But yeah, this would be a lot better once we have it, or a lot cleaner once you have the settings correct. Yeah, this is definitely a nice unit. It's just going to take a little bit of getting used to. I definitely am going to go through some consumables getting this figured out, but super cool. I wish I would have got this years ago. It would make cutting especially really thick stuff a lot easier. I can't wait to try it on something thin. Actually, maybe we'll get a piece of thin stuff. We'll adjust it and we'll do it right now. Okay, we're going to try this on a piece of 20 gauge.
Alright, let me zoom out.
Here, come over and show it.
Alright.
Now, if I could actually hold my hand steady, or if I had a line, like that, cut it like it was nothing. That's actually a super clean cut. I turned it down to 15 amps, and let me see this.
Right.
Yeah, I turned it down to 15 amps, and it's super clean.
Let me break it off.
Yep. I didn't cut all the way through, but here's the back side of it. So really, not even that much slag on that side. Yeah, really thin stuff. That's like, or normal stuff, I should say, like 20, 22 gauge, 18 gauge, whatever. That's like super easy. If you wanted to cut in the middle, if you were cutting a piece of flat stock and wanted to cut a circle or a pattern or design in it, yeah, that would be easy. The biggest issue is just keeping your hand steady, obviously. I was on a weird angle and was just kind of like going down through it.
It's also cold in here, so
yeah,
it makes you shiver.
if you marked it off, that'd be great. So I highly recommend getting one of these. Again, I wish I would have got one of these years ago. Okay, well, Blake wanted to try this too. For builder kids, he wanted to try giving the plasma cutter a shot. So we're gonna see how this goes.
Can I lift up the safety?
Mm-hmm. Give it a little squeeze. What'd you think?
I didn't know. That's crazy. I'm gonna get this one.
Okay, watch your fingers. Don't touch it because it's gonna be hot. There's Blake's cut. Pretty good, huh?
I wouldn't try it again.
Yeah, that's pretty fun.
It is fun. It's dangerous, but it's fun.
Not dangerous, but well, it could be. I guess it could be.
Hand off.
Definitely don't do this without adult supervision or a parent there. But yep, pretty cool. So If you guys have any questions, post it down below this. Again, this is the Amico, and this is the CUT-50HF. The HF is the high frequency. That's the for the arc. They have a 60 HF, I think, as well too, that might cut a little bit thicker. But any questions, post them below. Any comments, post them below.
Like and subscribe, and while you're down there, hit the notification bell. And if you have any notifications, you can just, type them in. But happy building!